everyone, Jen here with a question. How do you intro a game that speaks for itself? Simple, you don't. In 1992 to 1994, Super Nintendo gamers were given a spectacular trilogy of games based on the incredibly popular Star Wars franchise. Obviously, LucasArts had a hand in developing these three titles, but Sculptured Software also played a part, their prior work including my beloved nemesis game, Bart's Nightmare. I love the Super Star Wars series. This version was given the Best Movie to Game Award in 1994 by Electronic Gaming Monthly, and for good reason. It's a 2D side-scroller, and a racer, and a shooter. It has so much going for it, I'm not surprised it's considered to be one of the better games in the Star Wars series. I hate even ruminating about this, but if you haven't seen Star Wars, here's a brief and basic recap. A long time ago, there was a galaxy far away with scrolling text and a power called the Force. While you're at Tosche Station getting power converters, some unionized bad guys build something that isn't a moon, it's a space station, and there's a trap or two. You lose a hand, James Earl Jones is your dad, giant Sasquatches always win at board games, and overall, it's about how little furry creatures will win in the face of evil technology. All on board? Good. So you play as various characters and fight your way through the Death Star to reach Emperor Palpatine for an embarrassingly difficult showdown. The game is tough just like other great Super Nintendo games. I won't lie, I can't beat Palpatine at the end. I'm having flashbacks to Bart's Nightmare. I try, but it's the same story every time. He always ends up lightning blasting me to death and it's game over. At least with this title, we had password codes to jump straight to a certain level. I needed those password codes. Hell, I still need those password codes. It follows the movie plot with levels on Endor, Jabba's Palace, Tatooine, and the Death Star. Oh man, as a kid who was throwing fists and shouting at my TV the first time I saw Return of the Jedi, the Rancor boss fight in Super Return of the Jedi was spectacular. The bit representations of these iconic scenes gives me chills of nostalgia and makes me want to break out my version of Return of the Jedi. No, not the new movies, the original ones prior to the addition of CGI and with the original Anakin, not that other jerk faced by the campfire. Choosing various characters equips an appropriate weapon, like blasters for Leia and Han, a laser crossbow for Chewie, and a lightsaber for Luke. I do find that being Luke allows for incredibly unbalanced gameplay as he constantly kicks major ass flying through the air waving that sweet, sweet lightsaber around. I love the Mode 7 fake 3D vehicle sequences, which obviously remind me of my favorite racing game, F-Zero. If you aren't familiar with the effect, when the camera rotates on a vehicle, the environment shifts to compensate for this change. Now, it might not seem like much in this day and age, but back in the early 90s, this was major wizardry. So utilizing this technology, we get a pretty great speeder bike chase, and more importantly, a chance to take the Millennium Falcon for a spin. So, I recommend this title. I highly, highly recommend this title. It's available on the Super Nintendo, Game Boy, Game Gear, and in 2009 was added to the Wii's growing collection of Virtual Console titles. It's a fun game to take you back to a time when the big-name developers were taking care of the titles based on movies. Done well and thoroughly, Super Return of the Jedi is a true classic. Go play this game and remember a time before Jar Jar. Gold Leader, out.